Hey, stars. It's me, Shorter Star, and I'm back. Listen, I hope you had a great final weekend of summer of 2025. The weather was beautiful here in New York, New Jersey. There was actually a lot going on this particular weekend with parades and different street festivals and things. First off, let's start off with this. Right now, I'm drinking some lemon water. I actually had a few alcoholic drinks this past weekend, and I'm not a big drinker, so I need to drink some water and hydrate. I actually went to a family member's wedding this past weekend, me and Layton, and it was in New York, in Queens. And I would like to say congratulations again to my cousin Vonetta and my cousin Lala Smith. Congratulations on your nuptials again this weekend. It was beautiful. We had a great time. And I want to tell you how your wedding or how this wedding was a blessing to me and my household personally. Um, Unlike some of you may know or some of you may not know, I have a set of twin sisters younger than me and they're not identical. They're fraternal, Shaka and Turkana, um, better known as TK, um, and Shaka. And we haven't been as close as we should have been since my mom's passing, and my mom has been gone a while now. And we speak on holidays and birthdays, and now with the way social media is set up, people don't really have to pick up the phone and actually have conversations anymore. They can text you. If they text you 2 or 3 times a year for your birthday, for Christmas and Thanksgiving, that's how people connect nowadays. They don't pick up the phones like back in my day as a person of a certain age. We picked up the phone and you at least heard the person's voice. That doesn't necessarily happen anymore. And that's how we had been pretty much communicating. I know I have, like back and forth, just texts on birthdays and stuff, letting them know you're thinking of them, but whatever. Well, this particular wedding, my two sisters were there, and I have another sister that lives out of state. But my two twin sisters were there with one of my nieces, and we got to reconnect. It was a little weird at first because my cousin, of course, it was a family wedding, so we were set at one table. um, Being siblings and stuff, all of us was sat at one table and our partners or whomever. So um, it was a little thick at first, but I started to look at my beautiful sisters and seeing where they've come, and they now are married and have families of their own and children, and I'm like, wow. And I just started to outpour, and we said things that we probably should have said years ago. And can I say it was a blessing? It was a blessing. We've spoken every day since. That was just Saturday, but now it's Monday, the first day of fall, and we spoke a few times yesterday. We already put on the calendar within the next couple of weeks. We're going to spend an overnight together. So us three, me and my two sisters. I invited my nieces, but I think my sister wanted to be just the siblings right now at this first time. We're going to do an overnighter, have a little game night, eat tacos, have a taco night, do all types of things and just, but it's been a complete blessing. I thank God for that. Um, it was a blessing, and I can't say anything. So again, I had a great time. I ate, and like I said, I had a few drinks at the wedding, at the reception. And let me tell you something. The wedding I went to was a 10:30 wedding, and I didn't know that until I actually looked at the invite, which was not a problem. But I had never been to a wedding at 10:30 in the morning. Well, they come to find out they had put 10:30. It was really 11 o'clock, but they put 10:30 just to have everyone there. And of course, it started a little late. It's a wedding. The bride is a one time deal most of the time here. So the wedding started a little after. But what I would tell you about it is it was interesting to having the a wedding finished by 12, 12:15, 12:30. Then you go to cocktail hour, which is like 12:30 to 1:30. Then it was a beautiful outside cocktail hour. The weather was beautiful on Saturday, and their cocktail time, I guess, while the people in the party took pictures, was outside. Beautiful, set up like a little magical garden and things like that. Really, really nice, and the food was really, really good. Then they escort you inside, for the reception, which was great, and the DJ was good and everything. But like I said, it's something to being back home in your house. And mind you, we live in New Jersey, so we had to travel a little further than most. But for us to be back home by like 6 o'clock ish was everything. Everything. And I mean, there's something to these early morning weddings, and you can actually get in and get out and actually be home from a wedding at 4 or 5 o'clock is like everything, depending on how far you drive. So, again, congratulations to Vanetta and Lala Smith. Hope to spend some time with you guys soon, and I'm definitely looking forward to spend some time with my sisters within the next couple of weeks. Okay, so Cardi B. Let's talk about Cardi B a little bit. I'm not going to keep you guys long. I want to continue to thank you for your support. Please continue to like, share, comment, and subscribe. That's what I need you guys to do. Now, I'm sure a lot of us is aware that Cardi B has an album that she just dropped days ago, and it's titled "Am I the Drama?" Well, guess what? Her album is already certified platinum. She was certified platinum within one day, I believe. Yeah, I believe it was one day. She went platinum in one day, allegedly. But yeah, and she also, while I tell you that, let me tell you something else. She also broke or set, not broke, set a Guinness World Record. Okay, this is what happened. Cardi B recent album "Am I the Drama" not only achieved platinum status already, but also set a Guinness World Record for the most drone deliveries in 1 hour. This record-breaking event involved 176 signed CDs of the album being delivered across Dallas Fort Worth, Texas metro area using drones. Okay, so what they did was they this is pretty much a practice run, and CDs are very light, and you know drones delivered 176 drones delivered signed CDs, I guess, with her autograph within 1 hour. So she now set the record. She didn't break a record because it wasn't a record before because it's new. But yeah, she got to set this record of 176 signed CDs being delivered by drone and what is it, Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas metro area by drones, delivered by drones. So you ordered it and the drone delivered it and brought it to your house and landed it and delivered it to you. So she broke that record. I want to say congratulations to Cardi B, actually. I mean, I know most of us are aware that Cardi B and Stefan Diggs are expecting a baby soon, and she's really showing. And I say congratulations to that. I'm not going to get back to the things with her ex husband, and it is what it is. She's a wealthy woman. She's a young woman, and what I like about Cardi is she still, even with all of whatever she has, and how fast she got it. Um, she still reminds me of, I'm from New York, I'm from Brooklyn, so she definitely reminds me of the girl next door. And I heard her say in an interview not long ago, like days ago, that they asked her how often does she go back to the Bronx where she's from. And she's like, she still got family and friends that live in the Bronx. She said she's in the Bronx all the time. It's just that people don't know she's there. She said that when she's in the Bronx, she has on sweats, sweatshirt, baseball cap, and she's chilling. She said she's actually chilling with her friends that she grew up with, spending time walking the streets. She said she's not glammed up. She's not with all this jewelry. Ain't no Bentleys outside. And I love Cardi for that. Like, it's real. It is what it is. It is what it is. All right. So I know that let me get rid of this Cardi thing off of here for now, right? Now, I know that it's nothing wrong. I just want to know how I'm going to speak of this. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring up the picture and then I'll fill you in. And we're aware of this student that was found hanging allegedly, and I'm gonna say allegedly because this story is about um is about untruths and how the story is now twisting. Um, that's the student that we're speaking of. And just give me 1 second. His name is Trey Reed. Delmont Trayvon is his name, but they call him Trey, and his last name was Reed. Well, initially, what's being said is initially, well, we've heard the facts that he was found um, hanging from a tree, right? And then we also heard that we're just hearing now that the family is stating that when they was first told about their child, their loved one, um, being deceased, that the college or the police, one or the other, initially told them that he was found unalived, well, deceased in his dorm room. And they're just saying that how did police initially tell the family that this black student was found unalived in his dorm room, and they didn't suspect any foul play, right? And that um, they actually suspected unaliving yourself, right? So that they were suggesting that. But the truth is known that but then family was told he was found in his dorm, and the media was told that he was found hanging from a tree on campus. So that right there, that's too much of a difference. And one is completely hanging from a tree. And allegedly, I heard some rumors that I heard first was hearing that his legs and his arms had been broken, but then I'm hearing that that wasn't true. But I also heard that someone, a celebrity, and I don't know, don't know exactly the name at the moment, is going to pay for a special autopsy, to help the family out to find out what really happened. But it's already starting with the how you doing? It's already starting with the crap. If you telling me that my child was found unalived in his dorm room, and then I look on the news and they say, "Oh, student found hanging from a tree," two different things. Two different things. So look, listen, we definitely have not heard the last of this. So we're definitely going to revisit this, and we'll check it out. And I will definitely let you guys know, because you know those discrepancies. No, no, no way. So which is it? Which is it? Okay. Well, this story is coming from Coney Island, Brooklyn, right? And it states, let me pull this up correctly so you guys can at least know what I'm talking about. It states 95-year-old woman charged with murder of roommate at New York nursing home. Now, um, from what I understand, it's a nursing home in Coney Island, right? And apparently they do doubles in a room, meaning two people in a room at one time. So when they said roommate, that's what they mean. At a nursing home, they shared a room. All right. So it says an elderly Brooklyn woman was arrested after allegedly beating her roommate to death at their New York City nursing home. Galina Smirnova, 95, was jailed without bond at Rikers Island on Friday, September 19th, on charges of second degree murder and possession of a criminal weapon, is what's shown by the New York City court records. Her roommate was 89. And what's being said is that the nurse said that she had came in and checked on them, for however and whatever they do, and both women were in the bed. They came back less than an hour later to check again, and one woman was in the bed and she looked like she had blood all over her, and she looked like she had been beaten in the head and in the face. The other woman was in her bed with blood on her hands and blood on her and stuff like that, allegedly, right? So they're stating that this, I don't know what occurred. I'm sure they're investigating to find out. But what they are alleging now is that the 95-year-old took the foot pedal off of a wheelchair. You know, when you get in a wheelchair and the metal plates that come down and you put your feet on. Well, apparently that was the murder weapon, allegedly. And they found it taken from the chair and apparently had blood on it. So that's now why the 95-year-old woman, beat the 89-year-old woman to death. I have no idea. It could have been over a man. It could have been over she had the TV too loud. Oh, I'm just telling you the story, guys. I don't know. All right. So men, I would say men in Brooklyn, be careful. But these days it's men and women. Everybody be careful. Apparently, there's some women luring men on dating apps and then like inviting them to their apartment. And when they arrive to the apartment, they're robbed by 2 to 3 masked gunmen waiting for them. And this is going on really a lot. And um, okay, now when I was reading the thing, let's just tell me I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from Bedford Stuyvesant. I'm not even gonna act like I grew up like the Huxtables. I didn't. I grew up in an urban area with urban things and everything. Okay, the police are saying 2 women have turned to dating apps into traps, meaning the women are accused of luring men to a Brooklyn building and robbing them instead of making a love connection. Police say the women have been using a dating app to lure men into different buildings at the Cooper Park houses as part of the robbery scheme. Now, what I noticed when I was reading it, it said Cooper Park houses, which lets me know that that's a public project, low income domain, numerous floors, buildings. Who, it like really? And listen, all I'm saying is you're meeting people off of the app, and then you're going to the PJs to meet them. Actually, getting out your car, walking through the PJs to wherever the building is to meet. Are you that desperate and that crazy in 2025? People that live in the projects don't want to walk through the project. So why would you? Once I realized that, because sometimes people will be slick, I'm sure they'll probably give you an address. You don't really know where the address is. But with all the technology now, there's no reason for you not, before you leave your house to, if you're going to leave your house and go and meet somebody on a date, right? Off of a dating app, because anybody can be anybody on a computer. If you're meeting them off a dating app, you can Google that address. You can go right to Google on your phone, your laptop, whatever you're using to communicate with this person. You can go on and Google map the address and see, is that a private house? Is that a building? Where is it? You can see. Google Maps work, people. Stop being silly. And I just couldn't believe. And what happened is the people are arriving on to these buildings. It says in 2 separate incidents that we're going to talk about today. One happened, they both happened at the end of July. And then I think another in August, but we're going to talk about these two. It says the first 2 incidents happened on July 22nd. Um, it says the male victims in their 20s connected with the women and agreed to meet up at a fifth floor apartment to hang out. The first incident was on July 22nd at 9:57 p.m. 9:57 p.m. inside 389 Morgan Avenue. The second happened on July 29th at 2 a.m. inside 30 The Voice app. Like y'all tripping. Y'all are tripping. So not only are you going to the projects, you're going to the projects at 9:57 at night. Another one at what, 2 in the morning? Yeah, like 2 in the morning. Like, are you for real? And one of them, not only did it says in both cases, once the victims got off of the elevator, they were met with 2 armed and masked men. After a violent struggle, the men were able to steal cash, cell phones, and in one of the cases, the victim's Mercedes Benz that was parked outside. One of the men allegedly displayed a gun during the first incident and another during the second incident. Um, the new NYPD released the following surveillance images of 2 women, but they're really grainy. It looks like it was taken from an elevator or something like that. I'm not even going to be bothered, but look it up. And listen, be careful. And let's not be stupid. Let's not be stupid. Are we really? Really? Okay. I just want to let you guys know. Well, we've talked about this on numerous occasions, right? And we've talked about um, how the CDC had fired all the doctors that get together, like it's a group of it's a panel of doctors that get together and they talk about what vaccines, what flu shots we should have, different things. And I know there's a lot of people that don't care about that. And that's fine. But there are a lot of people that have other underlying issues that have to take a flu shot because the flu could mean everything to them. They need to take a COVID shot because COVID could be everything to them. It depends. So all I'm saying is if you don't want to take it, absolutely that's your prerogative. And it's funny because now that we have John F. Kennedy Jr., who's not qualified, allegedly, to my opinion, to even have a pet, um, is now the head of the CDC. Well, the CDC chief that was fired, Susan Moranes, she warned senators last week in Capitol Hill that RFK Jr. is endangering the public health. And I've told you this before. He wasn't qualified for that position. His own family, John F. Kennedy's daughter, wrote, and other family members wrote and went and spoke to senators before they put him into that position. Even though that's what Mr. Trump, President Trump, wanted him, what position he wanted him for, the family came out and said, please don't put him in his position because this man believes that African American people and Caucasian people should have two different vaccines. And the fact that you even just think that, you're thinking of color and you're not thinking of being a human being, is just ridiculous. Now, even though, like I said before, he bigged up the black people, like, oh, we're supposed to be this, that, and we have extra melanin, and we have this, and we have that. That all sounds good. But once you start separating medication, what else are you going to start separating? You're going to be able to tell us what we need or don't need. We're all different. Every one of us is different. And again, the fired CDC chief, she's stating that right now we're going into the flu season. We're going into the winter months now. This is the first day of fall. So with it being the first day of fall, people are going to start catching colds. People, because the weather is up and down and all over the place, the flu season is on its way. And some people take flu shots, some people don't. Like I said, I'm not judging anyone that takes any shot. If that's what you feel you need to do to keep your family safe, knock yourself out. And if you feel you don't need it and you don't trust it for whatever reason, that's on you too. That's absolutely. And that's actually what Robert F. Kennedy is now. He's not it seems like we were kind of being demanded before to take the vaccines, and in the past couple of years, it's if you want it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. And now he's going to leave it like that. But now, allegedly, um, you may need a prescription for it. You can't just walk into CVS or Walgreens and get it. I mean, you can now. But I'm saying within this ending of this year and going into 2026, allegedly the plan is to make it so that you have to have a prescription to get it first. You just can't walk in and get it. And insurance don't want to pay for it. They're saying that public insurance is paying for it. I guess if you're on public assistance and the government is taking care of you for whatever reason, no judgment here. But if you have private insurance, they don't want to pay, such as the United Healthcares and the Aetnas and things like that. They don't want to pay. So I just want you to know we're coming into that season. We're now getting ready to get out of September and go into the October, which is going to start to be the colder months. The time changes. It's going to start getting darker early. And I just say, people, don't listen to other people and don't, because what works for them may not work for you. And when we're talking about health now, you have to, if you feel you want to take every vitamin in the world, then you do that. We're not judging, but I'm just saying, guys, make a decision and decide on it. But letting you know that even with the vaccines and stuff, with this man in charge, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's not even eligible to be a nurse, so he doesn't have a doctorate. He's not a doctor in anything. He's not even a doctor in music. Okay. So listen, I'm just letting you know, the more you know, the further you'll go. And hopefully you know better to do better. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. I haven't taken a flu shot. I haven't taken any new vaccines for anything. I haven't decided yet. But when the time comes, I'm seriously thinking though. And when it we'll figure it out. Okay, so I don't know if you guys remember last year. Those of you that's been following me, last year I did a story, and that it took place. They had a task force And the task force, it was two airports. I think it was Charlotte Airport and it was Atlanta Airport, allegedly. And they were picking and choosing and seizing money from minority men because it wasn't only African American men, it was Spanish men, Mexican men, like that type of thing, you know? And it says DEA seizes $8,500 from black man at airport for looking suspicious. 1 year later, he wins back double in court. Now, this is what he looks like. And what they were doing was they had a task force that would sit at certain gates. And allegedly, I did a story last year about this, and they got a lot of money from people, meaning if they thought you were a quote unquote a drug dealer or whatever that looks like now, because it's like now you look suspicious. And when someone says to you, you look suspicious and whatever, is that a felony or a misdemeanor? Because suspicion isn't a crime. What you think is suspicious, another person may not. So that's on an individual basis, right? Okay, so let's get to this a little bit. And right now, people have a chance to start getting their money back that was seized from them. This particular man was $8,500, but I also remember it being 12,000, 15,000. One man was going flying from Atlanta to Tennessee, maybe. I think he was going to buy a truck because he needed a pickup truck for something that he was doing. And he was going to pick up a truck, and I think he had $15,000 cash to take, and he couldn't explain to them. He told them what he was going to do. He showed them he had everything. He had the ad for the truck and all. And they were using different tactics and the reasons to take the money and keep it. And because sometimes people didn't fight, which you'll find out in this story, because it'll cost you more than what you're losing to even fight it. And more than likely, because it was the government you were going against, the DEA, they were going to win. Well, not so sure. Hold on. In a shocking event in 2025, racism is almost an everyday scenario, but not every time the guilty can get away with zero consequences. Brian Moore Jr. of Georgia, who was the victim of an unfortunate situation, didn't let the wrongdoing slide after the Drug Enforcement Administration, the DEA, took thousands of dollars from him at the Atlanta airport simply because he looked suspicious, right? So according to the Atlanta Black Star, back in March of 2021, Bryant, who happened to be black, was preparing to board a flight to Los Angeles when a DEA agent stopped him. And according to court filings, they claim that they observed him being suspicious. They described suspicious behavior. They questioned him, then asked for permission to search his bag. Inside, they found $8,500 in cash, and they took it. They confiscated it. They said that they believed that it was drug money. Um, well, an appeal court has said he is an Army veteran, first off. Bryant Moore should get every dollar back that the DEA agent wrongly took from him at the Atlanta airport. When you fight civil forfeiture and when the government should pay attorney fees, and that's what they were saying. They were saying forfeitures. They were just taking the money. They didn't care what you said and why you had this much. They said that the agent seized the money on the spot, but allowed Moore to continue on his trip without charging him with any crime. So you're telling me I look suspicious and you take my money, my property, which happens to be cash money, but yet you let me go on. So it's like, go on, sign these papers. We can you can sign it over to us or whatever, and they're going to use forfeiture as the reason. They told him that he looked suspicious and that they were going to take his money based off of the fact that I look suspicious. This is what Moore told the TV news. I hadn't done anything wrong. I wasn't doing anything wrong. Agents insisted they believed the money was connected to drug activity. Moore, however, explained that as an aspiring music artist, he was planning to use the cash to pay for a photo shoot and a music video while he was in LA, which he was on his way to go. They said, I'm willing to let it go. He hired an attorney, right? He had hired an attorney and they fought it and they reclaimed the money. However, he got his $8,500 back, but his attorney fees were over 16,000. So that's why a lot of people didn't fight it because if they took 5,000, 8,000, 10,000, it was going to take you double of that to even try to get it back. And more than likely, If the attorney won or lost, you still had attorney fees. So you were even going to be out of more money. Get it? So yeah, but he won, and they wound up going back, and now they had to wind up the DEA had to wind up paying his attorney fees, which is over 16,000. Getting to that. So now those men, anybody at the voice at the hearing can hear my voice, and anybody that knows people that this happened to, tell them they need to get on it because there's a chance they can get their money back. I don't know why, but I do understand. I'm not going to spend 15,000 to get 5,000 back. But wrong is wrong and right is right, people. Listen, that was all I had for you guys today. I love you. I want you guys to have a great, safe week. Like I said, this is the first day of fall. Actually, fall kicks in at 2:25 today, I think. That's what the news said. That's what Mike Wood said on channel. Did Mike Wood say it? I think Mike Wood said that this morning. I don't know. Anyway, I know that the fall officially kicks in at 2 something this afternoon. So we're about to get into fall. I love you guys. Be intentional. And I'm going to see you guys as soon as I can. Love you. One.